a must-need football game for the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to go through the ins and the outs of what they need to do to beat the rival Dallas Cowboys in this episode of 49ers Cutback.
From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback podcast time. Welcome to the show, everyone. Time for 49ers versus Cowboys game preview. And if ever there was a must win, it's got to be this one for the 49ers. Now, whether you want to call the Dallas Cowboys a must win football game too, I don't know. They're sitting at 3-3, so a loss would only put them at 3-4. I think when you look at their division, it might be a little bit more difficult for them to be able to step up and win some games, but you don't want to count them out. But for the 49ers, you can't afford to fall to 3-5. You've got some tough games coming up down the stretch. You've got to make sure you get back to your winning ways. A couple of things the 49ers don't like. Number one, they haven't won 2 games in a row. Number two, you're sitting in the bottom of your division now. That could quickly flip, and it's one of those interesting things where the Rams played on Thursday Night Football and got a victory. So they have a tiebreaker over the 49ers, which puts the 49ers in last place. But if the Cardinals and Seahawks both lose this weekend, the San Francisco 49ers win, they will then be in first place in the division. So you can go from worst to first with one game. That's how tight things are in the NFC West. But first off, you have to beat the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys haven't been playing well this year. In fact, they haven't been good pretty much at all. Their offense, their defense have really been struggling. I think the one bright moment and one bright unit for them has to be special teams, number 1 in the league in DVOA. So offense and defense not getting it done, but special teams is living up to expectations. For the 49ers, it's entirely different. Offense and defense have been decent at times. There's moments they look really good. Defense in the first half of games, especially the last 3 or 4, they've done a very good job. And so it's one of those things where you see them, and the Niners are ranked number 9 overall in DVOA, the offense at number 9, the defense at number 6, and you're looking and saying to yourself, how exactly is that football team 3-4? And I think that is the big thing, is really those Rams and Cardinals games they should have won, and they let them come back into that game and get the victory, and now they're sitting on the opposite side of 500 as far as percentage and winning record, and that's not where they want to be. So they've got to figure some things out. And we're going to help figure it out in this episode, how the 49ers attack the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to look at this game preview matchup and exactly what the 49ers need to do to beat the Cowboys. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. If you're listening on audio platform, 49ers Cutback on Believe Network, please give it a 5-star rating. And if you're going to bet with Bet Online. Basketball fans, it's that time of the year again. The NBA is back from opening tip-off to buzzer beaters. BetOnline is you covered with the best odds, biggest promotions, and live in-game betting on your favorite teams. This season, every game matters. BetOnline is every stat, matchup, breakdown, and live odds to bet on during the game. And it's not just the NBA. BetOnline has odds on everything from football to the World Series to NHL to political props. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. And for the 49ers offense, this is one of those tried and true methods that we've seen from Kyle Shanahan since he got here in 2017, was reliance on the run game. And this is going to be a key matchup in this game because the 49ers have been good on the ground this season. Now, it hasn't exactly been the best ground game they've ever seen, but they're putting up yards. They're getting consistent play from the running back position. Is it elite like Christian McCaffrey? No, but it's still been pretty good. 49ers are averaging 149 yards per game on the ground, and they've had some really explosive games against several opponents. Now, you look over at Dallas's defense, and they have not been good at stopping the run. Mike Zimmer's defense has had a real problem slowing down run game so far this season. Detroit went off on him just a couple weeks ago. Now they're coming out of a bye. They're going to be healthy and probably going to have Michael Kendricks back. But they're going to be without Micah Parsons. They're going to be without Deron Bland. So there are still some injuries, including Lawrence on the inside as well. So this is not a Cowboys team that's full strength, but let's be honest, neither are the 49ers. There's no full strength teams in the league, especially in the NFL, where injuries are just running amok and everyone is dealing with some really bad injuries. But when you allow 143 yards per game on the ground, that has got to be an advantage 49ers. Strength for the 49ers versus weakness of the Dallas Cowboys. And the 49ers got to lean into it. Now, with that being said, Mike Zimmer knows the 49ers are going to lean into it. We've seen the way teams have tried to play the 49ers over the last few weeks. They load the box, they muddy up the middle of the field, and they try to force Brock Purdy to have to beat them on the outside. Throw the ball outside the numbers, makes for long throws and tougher completions. So that's what teams are doing right now. So the 49ers got to find a way to loosen up the Dallas Cowboys defense early on in this football game so they can run the ball consistently with Jordan Mason. Now, with Mike Zimmer's defense deciding to load the box early in the game, it could allow you to go to some play action early on. Kyle Shanahan can move the pocket, take a little bit of pressure off his offensive line, and get Brock Purdy some high percentage throws and some opportunities to get in rhythm, get some of his playmakers involved. We know they're going to be without Jawan Jennings, but they're going to have Debo and George Kittle, and they're still going to have young guys like Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing, and of course, Kyle Juszczyk, who helps a lot on offense as well. So you have enough weapons to go out there and make some plays. And early on in this game, you're probably going to have to loosen up the Dallas Cowboys defense. Because why would the Cowboys defense allow you to run the football consistently and not take it away and put the onus on Brock Purdy, especially from what we've seen from Brock over the last couple weeks? It hasn't been bad, but it's been inconsistent. And so Brock knows that he's got to get things going this week. I think one of the easy ways to do it is to kind of get some play action, get some bully ball back into it. Now, once you get the Dallas Cowboys starting to kind of ease off and not come so hard for the run game, then you can start getting Jordan Mason involved. And I think the 49ers' key to victory in this game on offense is to get a 30 to 35 carry football game. Now, not all from Jordan Mason. They're going to probably have to mix it up, get Debo a couple carries, get Isaac Guerrero a couple carries, and get some opportunities in the ground game. But if you can establish the run game by the time you get to series number 3, then that is going to be the way that you continue to pull away. So early on, they'll play tough against the run. Later on in the game, you're probably going to have some opportunities. Now, Michael Kendricks is going to be back, and that's going to help their run defense. They did not have him against Detroit, so that was definitely a big blow for that Dallas Cowboys defense. One thing about the Cowboys, they can run sideline to sideline with their linebackers. So speed on the outside, toss plays, things like that, you're going to have to account for them. They can beat some of your more athletic offensive linemen to the spot. So this is an opportunity for the 49ers to run some plays on the outside zone, but plays that cut up and cut back because of the aggressive style of Dallas. So early on in the game against Detroit, it looked like the Dallas Cowboys were going to be able to cut off a lot of those runs. And then, you know what it did? Pretty soon they were washed by, and Jahmyr Gibbs and others were cutting back against it. And so you see a run style that can work, but you have to force it first. The 49ers are going to have to get that run game going, and they're going to have an advantage to getting it going. So once you get a run game going and you establish the play action pass, that's going to prevent Mike Zimmer from being able to just load the box and come after you. And that's also going to prevent some third and long situations, which you don't want to be in. You don't want to allow Zimmer to man up on the outside and bring a blitz because you don't have Brandon Ayuk anymore. So you've got to make sure you stay in advantageous situations, and that will definitely happen. Now, once you loosen up the defense with those high percentage passes, then you're going to have some opportunities for your playmakers, including George Kittle. I love George Kittle in this matchup, especially now that Debo is going to be playing. You can't pay full attention to George, even though I do think that at times Zimmer will try to bracket George Kittle, especially in the red zone. But Kittle matched up against some of the linebackers and the safeties of the Dallas Cowboys is advantage George Kittle. We saw it last week against Kansas City. Kittle was able to get some big-time matchups and beat a guy like Justin Reed vertically down the field for an explosive. There were also other plays he was open, just didn't get the football. So Kittle right now is playing some of his best football, especially catching the ball. He is the number one tight end as far as touchdowns caught this season with 5. So the 49ers need to rely on 85. I think it needs to be a mixture of him and Debo and then sprinkle in some of the other guys. You're going to have to get some contributions from Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing and Ronnie Bell and Chris Conley, even though we don't want to hear that all the time. They're going to have to get involved in this offense to make up for the loss of Brandon Ayuk. And you have to do it a bunch of different ways. One of the ways you can do it, though, is counting on Kittle on third down. He's got to be your third down monster now that third and Jawan is not out there. So 49ers handicapped a little bit as far as what they have out on the outside with wide receivers. We'll see what happens with Pearsall and if he's able to step up. And with the Cowboys, they're looking at the same thing. They don't have Brandon Cooks. So it's kind of going around right now. Not everyone has the playmakers that they were hoping to have. Now with Brock Purdy, you've just got to be willing to take what's there. And I think in this matchup, he will. It'll be things to loosen up that defense early. There will be shots down the field, but you've got to make sure that you don't stay on those too long. So you get looking down the field, you get to the second hitch, and you're not ready to unleash that ball. That receiver's not open yet. Go ahead and find somebody else that you can check it down to, pick up a positive gain, and move the sticks. That's going to be a key in this football game. Now, when those shots do arise and you have an opportunity, absolutely take them. We've seen him hit the big one to George Kittle last week. We've seen another one deep to Jacob Cowing. Those types of plays can be there, especially with Trayvon Diggs being so aggressive. You're going to have opportunities down the field. But also, you get a matchup of Kyle Juszczyk on a linebacker. Just missed it last week. So those are some things that Brock Purdy's going to be looking at, but he's got to make sure his internal clock, as far as his reads, he doesn't stay on any one thing too long, that he's willing to progress to the next thing and get through his progression so he can get the receivers the ball out in space. And of course, if you feel a blitz coming or you see a blitz coming, find your hot. Get rid of the football. Brock can create a lot and do some extra things with his legs to extend plays. That's fantastic. Continue to do that. But when you have the opportunity and you see the blitz, hit the hot. And right now, defenses are changing their tendencies. They're showing things that they've done the entire season and then doing something else against the 49ers. The 49ers are getting the best out of every team they're playing right now. They're all trying to stymie this passing game, stymie the run game, and for the most part, they did a good job. Chiefs did a great job last week of confusing Jake Brendel when it come to what he's supposed to do, and a lot of times you can't even read it with those delayed blitzes. Really, really tough. So 49ers just got to be on their P's and Q's and make sure blitz comes, let's find the hot, get rid of the football. That's exactly what you have to do. Now, normally when you go to defensive key matchups for the 49ers, the first thing I would normally talk about is stopping the run. And that's always an onus. But this week, it's not so much just about stopping the run, but it's about getting after Dak Prescott, making him feel uncomfortable, and slowing down CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys averaged 259 yards passing through the air, which is good. I mean, the 49ers offense is at 254, really close. But CeeDee Lamb is the guy. Dak Prescott will force feed him. He wants to get CeeDee Lamb the ball anytime he's in one-on-one situations. When he's on one-on-one, boom, Lamb is going to be the guy that he's looking for. So the 49ers have to know that, and they have to make sure they try to take away CeeDee Lamb as much as possible. Make Jalen Tolbert, make Javonte Turpin, make Jake Ferguson, make those guys beat you with the passing game. Don't allow CeeDee Lamb to get going and beat you. And the 49ers have had pretty good success against Lamb, especially recently. So 49ers do a pretty good job when it comes to pass defense, and they're going to have to do it in this game. But a lot of it's going to come down to how do they get after Dak Prescott? Prescott does not react well to pressure. I watched the game back with Detroit, and he was under constant pressure. Of course, we've seen the 49ers play Dak consistently over the last several years. It seems like every single year the 49ers get to Dak and they force a couple of turnovers. And so put pressure on Dak without losing your rush lane integrity. That was one thing that was tough last week. You saw Patrick Mahomes escape a few times, and end up making either big plays or using his legs to make a big play himself. And so the 49ers got to not allow Dak Prescott to get outside the pocket or to escape inside the pocket. So pass rush lane integrity is important, but you have to get pressure on him. Dak Prescott will take his eyes off what's going on downfield, and he will absolutely put it on the pass rush, and that is a unique thing the 49ers can take advantage of. Jalen Hurts does the same thing. We've seen the 49ers have advantages against him as well. So get Dak Prescott uncomfortable, because when he's uncomfortable, he does two things. Number one, he takes a sack, or number two, he throws into coverage. And he's willing to take chances and throw some very non-decisive footballs. I mean, these things are absolutely crazy throws. I don't know what he's doing, but he's willing to take chances with some of his wide receivers. So he will force the football and almost throw a jump ball to everyone. So I seen a jump ball to CeeDee Lamb, which that's to be expected. One to Jalen Tolbert, one to Jake Ferguson. He just throws the football up. And one of those plays, he rolled all the way to the right and threw all the way back to the left to Jake Ferguson, who was in double coverage. Those types of mistakes give you the opportunity to get turnovers and sudden changes that could really help your football team. So this point in this game, you have to make sure you get after Dak Prescott and put pressure on him. And the Cowboys will get into modes where it's like, oh, this drive we're going to run, and other drives it's like, this drive we're going to pass. There's not always a balance from drive to drive, and so series look completely different. With Zeke Elliott's in, you might see more heavy sets. You want to run the football. You want to be more physical. When they get in Dowdle, it's more of a spread set. They want to throw the ball. They want to run out of 11 personnel. So personnel definitely dictates how you play against the Cowboys, but I think it does streamline what you expect for them to do because they do only unique things with certain personnel. So it's a little bit easier to determine what they're going to do. Just watching their film, I was slowly figuring out that, okay, this is a run or this is a pass. It doesn't mean it's easy to where you know which run or which pass is coming, but it definitely takes a little bit of the guessing work out of the game. Now, they are going to have Dalvin Cook available for the Sunday night game. He's going to be elevated from the practice squad, so they do have another runner that can run the outside zone, that has enough speed, enough physicality. We've seen the 49ers go against Dalvin Cook when he was in Minnesota. So they're adding a little bit to the running back room. They've got some good, talented players there, but the 49ers should be able to slow down the Dallas Cowboys' running attack. 49ers defense, even though they give up a lot of yards right now, 113 yards per game, have had games where they've shut down the opposing rushing attack. You look at the Jets, did a really good job against Breece Hall. You look at the Seahawks, did a really good job against Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Those are the types of games the 49ers have done, and with Seattle, they were able to stop them with a 7-man box, which was very impressive. They did a pretty good job against Kansas City for the most part last week with a 7-man box until we got to the fourth quarter, and then the Chiefs got some big runs, including some jet sweeps, which Dallas will run as well. So 49ers got to stop this run game, but I think they can, and I think they can do it with a 7-man box, which will put a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott to make some tight window throws, and there's going to be opportunities for the 49ers to go out there and get some turnovers. Now, Nick Bosa, he's going to be going against Tyler Guyton a lot in this game, and I'm sure Leonard Floyd will as well. And Tyler Guyton is a talented offensive lineman, first-round draft pick out of Oklahoma. And if you were on the channel, we broke down Guyton before. Guyton is inconsistent to say the least. I'm sorry. With Guyton, it's a lot of athleticism. I mean, the guy is hyper athletic, and once he figures this thing out, he could be a really good football player in this league. But he's not there yet. He's given up 4 sacks this season in 6 games. They've played 1 less game than the 49ers, and he has 8 penalties against him. So Nick Bosa is going to have an opportunity to beat Guyton, and I think he can in this football game. And the 49ers need to keep pressure on him. They need to make him feel uncomfortable, and they need to get after him. And, of course, stopping the run early will definitely help. But Guyton's also not a great run blocker right now in his career. And I think the 49ers can hold up on the edges, get some opportunities to get after Zeke Elliott, Dowdle, and Dalvin Cook and slow down this run game. But I love the matchup of Nick Bosa versus Tyler Guyton. I think this could be an opportunity for Nick Bosa to get a couple sacks and really make an impact on this game. But it's going to be about pressures this week. Sacks are great, and you want to get sacks, and I think the 49ers will. But if you can keep Dak Prescott under pressure, pressure really gets under his skin and he will make some mistakes. So you have an opportunity when you get to Dak Prescott. Now let's talk about third downs, because third downs are always an important part of the football game, and it's a very important part of this game. You look at the San Francisco 49ers, and they are getting first downs at a 42% rate. That is down about 5% from last year and about 5% from 2 weeks ago. The 49ers are trending in the wrong direction when it comes to third down. With that being said, the last two third down defenses they went against were very good. The Seattle Seahawks were at a 32% rate that they were allowing first downs on third, and the Kansas City Chiefs were at 35, two of the best defenses on third down. Well, look, guess what? Cowboys, 33%. Very good. 49ers are playing another really good defense on third down. So you've got to make sure you convert on third, which means you have to win on first and second. Can't allow third and long, and you can't have bad penalties. Jake Brendel cannot grab and hold. They can't have those mistakes this week. They've got to make sure they stay on their P's and Q's and they do the things that they're supposed to do to stay ahead of the sticks. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, those are good. 3rd and 1 and 2, great, because you can still run the football, or at least make the Dallas Cowboys believe you're going to run the football. So that's going to be pivotal. But Dallas's defense is pretty good on third down. Now, their offense, though, they're actually not as good as a third down offense as the 49ers. Only 1 percentage point, but they're right there. 41% for Dallas. That's a situation where the 49ers need to get off the field. But where Dallas's third down defense is very good, the 49ers' third down defense hasn't been good this season. Now, it's not as bad as it was starting out the season, but we've seen the Chiefs have a lot of success on third down, and that really started to inflate the 49ers number again. 49ers giving up third downs at 45%. They need to get that under 40%, and really they love it down there close to 35 where Kansas City and Dallas and Seattle are. They just haven't been able to do it. That's one of the reasons we felt Brandon Staley was going to help this defense, is he was going to help the 49ers get off the field on third down. He had been great historically as a defensive coordinator and head coach on third down. So far, that hasn't happened. The 49ers are trying to figure it out, how they're going to get out off the field. And in some cases, they just haven't been able to make that play. But third down is going to be huge for the 49ers. If they can get off the field on third down, they're going to have a really good opportunity to win this football game. That'll give them more opportunities on offense with Brock Purdy and the weapons, and more opportunities for Jordan Mason to run the football, use the clock, and wear down the Dallas Cowboys defense, all the while letting your defense rest. If that happens and your defense is fresh when you get to the fourth quarter, you have a better chance of winning. 49ers do tire out as the game progresses with the rotation that they have on the defensive side of the football. Now let's look at the red zone offense. Neither one of these teams are good in the red zone this season scoring touchdowns. Dallas Cowboys are actually second worst in the league at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. 49ers scored touchdowns at a 45% rate. Of course, last year they were at 68% with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. So the offensive player of the year has made a huge impact. His absence has definitely weighed on the 49ers red zone success. And you look at the Cowboys, they're at 37%. And I talked about Dak Prescott forcing footballs. He definitely does in the red zone. He forces footballs, gives up red zone interceptions. So this is an area the 49ers must win. We talked about third down. Well, red zone's even more of a must-win scenario. You've got to score touchdowns against a bad Cowboys red zone defense. You need to turn this into you scoring touchdowns and them not, and them relying on Aubrey and the field goals. Now, when you look at red zone defense, 49ers give up touchdowns at 60% rate. That's not good. That means every time someone gets into the red zone, they score 60% of the time a touchdown. That's terrible. You've got to be a lot better than that. Now, I would say that that's one of the worst, but I can't, because look at Dallas. They give up touchdowns at a 73%. So nearly 3 out of 4 times that someone gets in the red zone, they score a touchdown against this Dallas Cowboys offense. The 49ers must score touchdowns in this game. They're going to have opportunities. They have the better red zone offense, believe it or not. They have the better red zone defense, believe it or not. And this is an opportunity that they must take advantage of. They got to make sure they win in the red zone. That's going to be very, very important. And I think the 49ers have an opportunity here, because the Cowboys are going to be looking to stop the run in this game, to have some opportunities where you go heavy, 22 personnel in the red zone, and then run a play action off that. Get guys involved but get some unique looks where they're buying and selling into the run, and you get Brock Purdy out on the edge where he can make a choice to either run the football or throw. I love that in this game. So that's something that I'd be looking for. And also, bring back the screens. Use their aggressiveness against them. People are jumping forward, trying to stop your running game. Go ahead, quick screen. They did it last week to Jacob Cowing in the red zone. I love that. Get that going with a wide receiver screen to Debo or Cowing or Pearsall. And then also find George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk for screens. I know we haven't hooked up with Juszczyk yet, but it's open. Find that play. I think those are some things that could be open in the red zone. And, of course, you need to win the time of possession if you're going to win this football game. Now, turnovers are pivotal as well. See, I always go through the keys to win on third down, win in the red zone, win the turnover battle. You do those things, usually walk away with the win. So that's what we're talking about, turnovers right here. The San Francisco 49ers and Dallas Cowboys both have 11 turnovers this season, 11 giveaways. Now, 49ers have played one more game than Dallas, so Dallas actually turns over the football more than Dallas Cowboys, turned it over more than the 49ers. So they have been a giveaway team this year. 11 is not good, neither for the 49ers. Both need to get better. Now, when you look at takeaways, 49ers have 13. So they've been able to produce nearly 2 turnovers per game. That's a really good number. And so they've been getting the job done on defense, and they're going to have an opportunity. Dallas likes to give the ball away. The 49ers like to take it away. You'd expect the 49ers to be able to get some turnovers in this game, where the Dallas Cowboys defense, they haven't been producing takeaways, which is crazy because normally the Dallas Cowboys have been one of those top teams. Now, there was a change in defensive coordinator from Dan Quinn to Mike Zimmer, and so that could be a big reason why. But also, Deron Bland hasn't been playing, and Deron Bland has gotten a lot of interceptions in his career playing with Dallas. But also, Trayvon Diggs has, and he hasn't really had too much impact this season when it comes to turnovers. So that's a huge deficit. 49ers come into this game +2 in turnover differential, while the Cowboys are -6, not winning football, right? You talk about their offense not good on third down. Their red zone offense and defense, bad. Their turnovers differential, bad. That's why you get a bad football team. The fact they're 3-3 is actually pretty impressive. So 49ers come in +8 when it comes to turnovers over the Dallas Cowboys, +2 on the season. That's pretty impactful. So 49ers have some real advantages and opportunities in this game. They just got to go out there and execute and take advantage of it. And now we're going to get into our Wow That's Bold predictions, brought to you by 49erscutbackshop.com, where you can get all of your 49ers cutback merch, like this one that I'm wearing right here, and also 49ers inspired merch, all available there. The link is in the description. Go check it out. But here we go. Wow, that's bold predictions.
Wow, that's really bold. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
It's got to be really bold. It's got to be whoa. And last week was a tough one for my Wow, That's Bold predictions. My offensive predictions didn't go off. My defensive predictions were a lot better, and I had some success on defense. I've yet to put out a special teams prediction. I only do them when I feel that they're going to have a successful big-time special teams play. So far, I haven't been willing to go there, and I'm definitely not going there in this game with the Dallas Cowboys being the number 1 special teams unit in DVOA. And this one, if you're the 49ers special teams, you're just trying to survive. But this week in the Wow, That's Bold predictions, I got the 49ers, who have struggled in the red zone. I think they're going to go over 50% in the red zone. I think they're going to have success against Dallas. They are going to score touchdowns in this matchup, and that's exactly what they have to do. So I'm going 49ers over 50% in the red zone this week. I think it lines up good running game against a bad rush defense, and also having Debo, George Kittle, you have enough weapons inside the red zone. I think there's opportunities there for the 49ers. And then I don't think Brock Purdy's going to turn over the ball. 49ers are 14-0 when Brock Purdy doesn't turn over the football, and I think they improve to 15-0 if Brock Purdy doesn't turn over the football in this one. So I just think that he's going to be smart with the football. I think that he's going to take what's there. I think they're going to get a run game going, and there's going to be a lot of high percentage throws for Brock in this game. So I've predicted Brock no turnovers one other time this season, and he had no turnovers. So hopefully I'm correct again, because that would probably lead to a big San Francisco 49ers win. On defense, I have the 49ers forcing 3 turnovers. Last week I said 2. They got it done. I think this week they forced 3. I think Dak Prescott's going to run into some situations where he's going to turn over the football, and the Cowboys just aren't good at taking care of the football. So I expect to see a fumble. I expect to see interceptions in this game, and the 49ers forced 3 turnovers that should help their football team be able to get the big win. And then I talked about pressures earlier, and I said there's going to be sacks, but pressures are what's important this week because Dak will throw into coverage. Well, I think the 49ers are going to force Dak to make some tough throws early that could lead to interceptions, which forces him later to hold on to the football. And I think the 49ers are going to get 4 sacks in this football game. I love the matchup of Nick Bosa versus Tyler Guyton. I love the fact that they can bring in Sam Okawanu to rush on the inside and create some nice opportunities for him to be able to get to the passer, especially with stunts and some things that go on in the inside with games and stunts that they're going to play on the inside. So I love the 49ers getting 4 sacks in this football game as part of my Wow That's Bold predictions. Hopefully, we'll run the table. If the 49ers run the table on my Wow That's Bold predictions, they will win this football game. Now, when it comes down to it, right, I got to make a score prediction, who I think is going to win this game and what the score is going to be. And I think when you look at some of the numbers, the place that the Dallas Cowboys have the biggest advantage is special teams. If special teams play a big part of this football game, that might make it tough for the 49ers. But if the 49ers are able to play as clean as possible on special teams by kicking the ball in the end zone on kickoff, Andres Carlson's got to get that done. Making sure you keep the ball away from Kevontae Turpin on punts. If you have to punt with Mitch Wishnowsky, kick it away from Turpin. Don't even allow a return. Smarter to give up a little bit of yardage, 5 or 6 yards, and get the ball out of bounds, rely on your defense, than to allow Turpin to have a big return against your special teams unit. Also, Andres Carlson's got to make his field goals and extra points in this game, but also don't allow Carlson to kick too many field goals. Score touchdowns, and that way if he misses an extra point, it doesn't hurt you as bad. So the 49ers, that's what they have to do on special teams. Just play a really safe football game. If the Cowboys are punting, play punt safe. Do not be hyper aggressive because Fossil will take advantage of you. We've seen it in every stop and every time they've played the 49ers. It's a week to play smart. It's a week to give up a little bit, to not give up a lot. And I think that's what they need to do in this game. So special teams is a huge part of the Cowboys win or Cowboys advantage. They might win. Now, when you look at the other things that we were talking about in this game, 49ers huge advantage when it comes to rush offense. I think that gives them a good chance to get things going on offense and score some points. Third down, 49ers better on offense than the Cowboys, but just slightly. Cowboys defense, a lot better than the 49ers defense on third down. That's pivotal. That could play a part in this game. But then when you look at this stretch, and you got the 49ers way better in the red zone on offense and defense. The 49ers way better when it comes to takeaways and the turnover differential. That's huge. I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game. I think this game is going to be very much so 49ers scoring touchdowns, Dallas having to kick a field goal, and maybe even more. But I think that the 49ers are going to get up on this game. They're going to be able to rely on the run game and kind of just have a comfortable opportunity. I don't think it'll be comfortable early, but I think as this game progresses, the 49ers will wear down Dallas. Dak will have some extra turnovers, and the 49ers will be able to capitalize in this game. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I do think it's going to be a big win for the 49ers. I think the San Francisco 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys 31-17. I think the defense shows up for the 49ers. Special teams doesn't make as many mistakes as normal. In fact, I think they play a safe game like I was talking about and just don't allow it to be a big part of this game. And then I think on defense and offense, they do what they need to do to get the win. So I think it's going to be a fun one. I think the 49ers get a win over Dallas. They right the ship a little bit. Of course, you can't ride it until you really start getting some wins. But they're going to go into their bye week, hopefully coming out of their bye week. They'll come out 4-4 with Christian McCaffrey and ready to go ahead and take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will be another tough game. But it'll be nice to go in the bye week with a win if they can get it done. It's not going to be easy, but I think they can get it done. Let me know your score predictions down in the comment section down below. Always curious if you want to throw some Wow That's Bold predictions at me. I like those too. So leave those down there. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening to audio platform 49ers Cutback on Believe Network. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online. The game starts here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe. Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.